The mist hangs heavy over the humid estuaries of the Amur River, but the year is not 2025. It is 66 million years ago, and the far east of Russia is a lush, subtropical paradise teeming with giants. Through the dense conifers, a silhouette emerges that defies the standard laws of dinosaur anatomy. It stands 12 meters long, possessed of an impossibly long neck and a massive, fan-shaped crest that glows in the sunset. This is Olorotitan arararensis. While the world often focuses on the predators of the West, this Titanic Swan was the undisputed master of the East. It represents the pinnacle of hadrosaurid evolution, a sophisticated social creature capable of producing haunting, low-frequency calls that echoed across the Cretaceous floodplains. This is the story of the last great lambeosaurine, a dinosaur that reached the peak of its beauty just as the world began to fall. The history of Olorotitan is a relatively recent chapter in the book of paleontology, beginning in the late 1990s in the Amur region of Russia. While North America and China had long been the hot spots for dinosaur discovery, the Russian Far East remained a mysterious frontier. This changed when paleontologist Yuri Bolotsky and his team began excavating the Kundur site. In 1999, the team unearthed a discovery that would stun the scientific community. They found one of the most complete dinosaur skeletons ever recovered in Russia. Unlike many finds that consist of scattered teeth or fragmented limbs, this specimen was nearly 80% complete. It was a lambeosaurine hadrosaur, but it possessed features so distinct that it clearly belonged to a brand new genus. The name Olorotitan was chosen to reflect its graceful yet massive stature. It is derived from a combination of the Latin word for swan and the Greek word for titan. The species name, arararensis, refers to the Amur River where the fossils were located. This discovery proved that the late Cretaceous was not a time of decline for the crested dinosaurs, but a period of incredible specialization and biological success. The most striking feature of Olorotitan is undoubtedly its skull, which is topped with a massive, hollow, fan-shaped crest. In the world of hadrosaurs, these crests are the hallmark of the lambeosaurines subfamily. However, the crest of Olorotitan is unique among its relatives, like Corythosaurus or Lambeosaurus. The crest of Olorotitan is axe-shaped and points backward, extending far over the rear of the skull. It is not a solid ornament, but a complex system of hollow chambers and elongated nasal passages. For decades, the purpose of such structures was a subject of intense scientific debate. Some early theories suggested they were used for snorkeling or as air reservoirs, but these have been thoroughly debunked. Modern CT scans and acoustic modeling suggest the crest was a high-performance resonance chamber. By pushing air through these convoluted passages, Olorotitan could produce incredibly loud, low-frequency sounds. These calls could travel for miles across the floodplains, allowing herds to communicate over vast distances. The crest was a biological trumpet used to signal danger, attract mates, or maintain social order within the group. The name Titanic Swan is not just a poetic flourish, it is rooted in a specific anatomical anomaly. Almost all hadrosaurids, regardless of their size, possess 15 cervical vertebrae in their necks. This was thought to be a fixed trait in their evolutionary blueprint. Olorotitan shattered this rule. It possesses 18 cervical vertebrae, a feature that allowed for an exceptionally long and flexible neck. This adaptation would have given the dinosaur a massive range of motion, allowing it to reach vegetation that other herbivores could not. It could feed on high-growing conifers, or reach deep into swampy waters to graze on aquatic plants. This elongated neck changed the profile of the animal, giving it a more graceful, bird-like appearance than its more robust North American cousins. When standing at full height, The head of Olorotitan could reach 4 or 5 meters into the air, providing it with a superior vantage point to scan for approaching predators across the vast Amur landscape. In terms of sheer scale, Olorotitan was one of the largest lambeosaurines to ever walk the Earth. Estimates suggest that an adult could reach lengths of 8 to 12 meters and weigh as much as 3 to 5 tons. It was a massive animal, comparable in size to a modern city bus. Its body was robust, supported by powerful hind limbs that were built for long-distance migration. While it was primarily bipedal when running or traveling quickly, it likely spent much of its time on all 4 legs while grazing. The front limbs were equipped with hoof-like pads on the middle fingers, indicating that it was comfortable in a quadrupedal stance. The skeletal structure also reveals a massive, stiffened tail. Like many hadrosaurs, Olorotitan had a network of ossified tendons that ran along its vertebrae. These tendons turned the tail into a rigid counterbalance, allowing the dinosaur to pivot its massive weight with surprising agility. This was essential for an animal of its size, especially when navigating the muddy, treacherous estuaries of its homeland. The sophisticated nature of the Olorotitan crest points toward an incredibly complex social structure. These were not solitary creatures. They were social animals that lived in vast, organized herds. The hollow crest was likely a visual and auditory signal of rank and maturity. Sexual dimorphism likely played a role in crest size and shape. While we lack a large enough sample of specimens to prove this definitively for Olorotitan, its relatives suggest that males possessed larger, more elaborate crests to attract females. These structures may have been brightly colored, used to intimidate rivals, or signal reproductive fitness during the mating season. The ability to produce low-frequency calls also suggests that Olorotitan had a language of sorts. Different sequences of sounds could have communicated specific messages. A short, sharp blast for a predator sighting, or a long rhythmic drone for gathering the herd during migration. This level of communication made the Olorotitan herds a difficult target for even the most determined predators. 66 million years ago, the Amur region was a unique biogeographic crossroads. While North America was dominated by the Hell Creek fauna, the far east of Russia hosted a distinct assembly of dinosaurs known as the Amur River fauna. Olorotitan shared its world with other hadrosaurs like Amurosaurus and Kerberosaurus. This diversity of herbivores in a single region suggests an environment incredibly rich in resources. The landscape was a mosaic of river deltas, lagoons, and dense forests of ginkgos, conifers, and early flowering plants. However, the abundance of herbivores inevitably attracted predators. While the specific apex predator of the Kundur site is still being identified from fragmentary remains, it was likely a large tyrannosauroid. These predators would have used the dense fog and thick vegetation of the riverbanks to ambush the hadrosaur herds. Olorotitan relied on its superior senses and the collective vigilance of the herd to survive. Like all hadrosaurs, Olorotitan was a masterpiece of herbivorous engineering. Its mouth was equipped with a dental battery consisting of hundreds of tightly packed teeth. These teeth were arranged in rows that constantly moved forward to replace those that were worn down. The duck bill at the front of the mouth was not for eating soft mud. It was a powerful shearing tool tipped with a keratinous beak. Olorotitan could bite through tough, fibrous branches and woody plants with ease. Once the food was in the mouth, the complex grinding surface of the dental battery pulverized the plant matter into a digestible pulp. This efficient digestive system allowed Olorotitan to process massive amounts of low-quality vegetation, which was necessary to fuel its 3-ton body. The combination of its long neck and its sophisticated mouth made it one of the most successful generalist feeders of the late Cretaceous. The presence of Olorotitan in the far east of Russia raises fascinating questions about dinosaur migration. During the late Cretaceous, a land bridge known as Beringia connected Asia and North America. It is widely believed that lambeosaurines originated in Asia, migrated to North America where they flourished, and then some lineages migrated back to Asia. Olorotitan represents one of these returning lineages. It is more closely related to North American dinosaurs like Cretaceous and Hypacrosaurus than to many of its Asian neighbors. This suggests a dynamic two-way exchange of species across the northern hemisphere. Olorotitan was a cosmopolitan traveler, a representative of a global dinosaur empire that spanned continents. Analyzing the leg bones of Olorotitan reveals an animal that was both powerful and surprisingly fast. Its femurs were thick and supported by massive muscle attachments, providing the strength needed for a 12-meter-long body. Computer simulations of hadrosaur movement suggest that Olorotitan could reach speeds of up to 30 or 40 kilometers per hour when threatened. While it was not a sprinter, its long stride allowed it to cover great distances with minimal energy expenditure. This was a vital trait for a migratory animal that needed to move between seasonal feeding grounds across the vast Russian plains. The dinosaur's feet were equipped with 3 large toes that ended in hoof-like claws. These provided excellent traction in the soft, muddy soil of the Amur estuaries. The weight of the animal was distributed across these broad pads, preventing it from sinking into the quagmire while it grazed on aquatic vegetation. One of the most significant scientific revelations about dinosaurs, like Olorotitan, concerns their metabolism. For a long time, they were viewed as cold-blooded reptiles, but the hollow crest and complex respiratory system suggest otherwise. The massive nasal passages within the crest did more than just produce sound. They acted as a heat exchanger. When the dinosaur breathed in, the air was warmed and moistened before reaching the lungs. When it breathed out, the moisture was reclaimed by the mucous membranes in the crest. This level of moisture and heat control is a characteristic of endothermic or warm-blooded animals. Olorotitan had a high metabolic rate, providing the energy necessary for its active social lifestyle. It was a dynamic, thriving creature that was as physiologically advanced as many modern mammals. Its ability to maintain a stable body temperature allowed it to inhabit the varied climates of the late Cretaceous with ease. Olorotitan holds a special place in evolutionary history as one of the last and most advanced lambeosaurines. By the time Olorotitan appeared in the Maastrichtian stage, many other lambeosaurine lineages in North America had already begun to disappear, replaced by the crestless saurolophine hadrosaurs. In the Amur region, however, the crested giants were still thriving. Olorotitan represents a refugium of sorts, a place where an older lineage continued to evolve and reach new heights of specialization. It was a final, spectacular flourish of the lambeosaurine design, proving that their social, vocal-based lifestyle was still a winning strategy until the very end. 66 million years ago, the world changed in an instant. The Chicxulub asteroid impact triggered a global catastrophe that brought the age of dinosaurs to an end. Olorotitan was a witness to this final act. The collapse of the food chain hit the large, specialized herbivores the hardest. As the lush conifer forests of the Amur died out under a cloud of ash and soot, the Titanic Swan had nowhere to turn. Its massive body required hundreds of pounds of vegetation every day, a resource that simply vanished in the post-impact winter. The haunting calls of Olorotitan eventually fell silent, and their magnificent crests were buried under layers of sediment, waiting millions of years for Yuri Bolotsky and his team to find them. They stand today as a testament to the beauty and complexity of a world that was erased by fire and shadow. Olorotitan was a masterpiece of late Cretaceous evolution, a creature that combined the grace of a swan with the power of a titan. From its axe-shaped resonance chamber to its uniquely elongated neck, it represented the absolute peak of social and auditory communication in the dinosaur kingdom. It reminds us that the history of life is not a straight line of progress, but a story of incredible diversity and localized success. While the asteroid may have silenced the Titanic Swans of the Amur, their fossils remain as a silent echo of a world that once was. If you are ready to continue exploring the deep-dive stories of the most incredible creatures to ever walk the Earth, please consider subscribing to this channel. Your support allows us to continue bringing the latest scientific evidence and the drama of the prehistoric world to life. Tell us in the comments, what do you think the haunting call of the Olorotitan would have sounded like in the mist-filled forests of ancient Russia?